Three Demons, Book 2, Chapter 41, The Panthereon. After the battle between Randy and Malachi, Rhea appeared at the battlefield. Seeing Randy crouched over, she ran over to him. "Oh my god, Randy, are you okay?" Rhea asked him as she grabbed him and held him close to her, causing Asuka to puff out her cheeks in jealousy. "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks to Asuka." Randy responded with a blank expression as his face is close to being buried into Rhea's chest. Rhea then looks up and notices Haname. Haname smiles back at her and says, "Greetings, I'm Haname Tojo. I assume you're his owner, right?" Did did she just compare us to a pet?" Joseph asks in the subconscious. Rhea nods. "How did you... Haname waves off Rhea's confusion. "I'm a wielder of one of Excalibur's fragments. I just have a natural sense for these things." "Oh yeah, that reminds me." Rhea stood up before she continued. "My father brought someone to the student council building. He wants you guys to meet him." They all do as they are told, including Haname, and travel back to the student council building. They go inside and see a small child roughing it up with Benji. "Hey, you're being too rough on my son!" Joseph screamed out in the subconscious. The child then turns and looks at Randy, who looks back at him with a blank expression. The child then points at Randy. "Blackhead." Randy just remained silent as the child insulted him. "Man, imagine being insulted by a child. Couldn't be me," Joseph quipped as Randy bopped him on the head. "Everyone, this is Gim. He wields the fragment known as Ninjaka." Rhea introduced Gim as he pulls out a pair of nunchucks. He then goes over to Randy and hits him with them in a childlike manner as Randy just looks down at him. Randy looks over to Rhea. "He's just a child." Gim looks annoyed about being called a child. "Yeah, but I'm very dangerous. Rawr." Gim gave out an adorable roar at Randy as he was unfazed by it, not knowing how to respond to it either. "Randy, you suck with children. Let me try." Joseph told Randy. Alter switched to Joseph. Joseph kneeled down in front of Gim. "Look, Gim, it's very dangerous." Ow! Joseph tried to speak to Gim, but was greeted with a nunchuck to the face. "Why, you little..." Joseph then began chasing Gim around the room as the others began to giggle at the scene playing out in front of them. Suddenly, a ring of fire appeared in the room, stopping Joseph and Gim both in their tracks as Hades walked out of it. "Gim, calm down, child. They're only trying to help," Hades told the boy with a cold tone in his voice. "But I don't wanna. It's more fun this way." Gim began to pout, but Hades looked down at the child with a glare, causing Gim to become obedient. "I apologize for him. But Gim is a primal occult coming from a race known as the Panthereon." "I'm sorry. Primal occult? Sounds like some dinosaur stuff to me," Joseph said, his hands resting behind his head. Hades chuckled softly. "You see, Joseph, there are two different versions of occult beings. First are the feral occult, beings with no self-control who only chase after their primal urges, such as murder and sex. Then there are primal occult beings, such as Gim here. They have their own free will, to the point they take a humanoid form. Despite their appearance, they act just like humans do. With some minor changes, of course." "Like what?" Joseph asked. "Did you seriously forget he just roared like 2 seconds ago?" Jake asked, completely dumbfounded. "Here's an example, Joseph. The Panthereon are a race of primal panthers. They have the tendency to stalk their prey quietly, Gim being no exception," Hades revealed, answering Joseph's question. "Okay, that's cool as hell," Joseph stated loudly. Gim then puffed out his chest proudly. "Yes, praise me more. Ha ha ha." "You know what? I changed my mind. That fucking sucks." Joseph quickly changed his tune, saying Gim's response to being praised. The room was then filled with laughter as Joseph and Gim's antics provided an amusing spectacle to behold. "Yes, how delightful. Laughter is always a good thing to do before your deaths." The laughter and camaraderie came to an abrupt halt when a chilling, ominous voice filled the room. It was a voice that carried an undeniable sense of malevolence, and it sent shivers down everyone's spine. All eyes turned towards the shadows, where a figure began to materialize. The fallen angel Blank emerged from the shadows. His very presence exuded an almost overwhelming aura of bloodlust. He had arrived in an air of danger that hung heavily in the room. Alter switched to Randy. Blank locked eyes with Randy, with Benji running up to Rhea and hiding behind her as the tension in the air became palpable. "Very bold of a fallen angel to make their presence known in front of me. You're lucky I don't incinerate you here." Hades threatened Blank, but he remained unfazed. "How are you going to burn me with a heatless flame, Lord Hades?" Suddenly, the red and orange-colored flame surrounding the face guard of Hades began to lose its color, melting off of the fire and dripping onto the ground as Hades stood his ground in front of Blank. The room fell into an eerie silence as Hades and Blank stared each other down. Blank's eyes still locked onto Randy as he ignored Hades' gaze entirely. Blank's eyes narrowed gleefully. Who will be the first to die? End of chapter 41.